Hi guys, and welcome back to the Crochet Toy YouTube channel. In today's video I'm bringing you another new crochet tutorial, and this time it's another Ooblets one. So I've got quite a few Ooblets tutorials now, and yeah, I don't plan to stop them anytime soon, so if there's any other Ooblets characters that you want to see, do leave it in the comments below. But today's video I'm showing you how to make the Skuffalo. So I've got two that I've made here. This is the gleamy version, the purple one, and then the pink one is the sort of standard colour combination. There's also obviously an uncommon version, but I haven't made that one, so you can make whichever one you want. Just make sure that you substitute in the colours that you want, but I'm going to be showing you how to make the pink one in this tutorial. I thought this would be a good one to get out now because it's kind of Halloweeny, with the face being sort of meant to be a skull, and I think these ones originate from the Knollware place on the map, which is meant to be kind of like the spooky place, so I thought, yeah, this will be a good one for Halloween. But yeah, this one should be quite a quick one to make as well. As you can see, these are really small and there's not much to them, so you could make this in a couple of hours probably, so if you're short on time, this will be a good one to make. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. For this tutorial you'll be needing aran weight yarn in the following colours: cream, pink and red, and you don't need anywhere near as much as what I'm showing you here. Probably about a quarter of a ball or even less will do for this pattern because it's quite small. Then you'll be needing your crochet hook. I've got a 4mm crochet hook to go with my aran weight yarn, but if you're using a heavier or lighter weight of yarn, just adjust your hook size accordingly. Then I've got some scissors, I've got some safety eyes, so I've got two black 6mm safety eyes here. Obviously you can use black yarn if you would rather embroider the eyes, or you could use black felt as well. Then I've got a stitch marker here just to help me keep track of my rounds. I've got my yarn needle for sewing everything together. I've got some pins to help keep things in place when I'm sewing them down, but this is optional, you don't need the pins. And then finally you'll be needing some stuffing, and you'll need a lot more than this, but this is just to demonstrate. We're going to start by crocheting the face, so you're going to need your cream yarn for this. We're going to start off by doing 6 single crochets in a magic circle for round 1. Then just pull on that tail to close up the hole, pull as tight as you can. Then for round 2 we're going to do a single crochet to start with. Then we're going to do 2 increases, so that just means doing 2 single crochets in the same stitch, and then in the next one do an increase. So that's single crochet, 2 increases, and then we're going to repeat that all again. So single crochet and then 2 increases. So once you've completed that, that means round 2 is complete, and you should have 10 single crochets at the end of the round. And if you've still got a little hole remaining in the middle, just pull on this tail once again, and that should hopefully close it up for you. Now we're moving on to round 3. So in this round we're going to start off by doing 2 single crochets, then 2 increases, then 3 single crochets, then 2 increases, and then finally another single crochet. So at the end of round 3 you should have 14 single crochets, and you should be starting to make a kind of oval shape. Now for round 4, which is going to be the final round, we're going to do 3 single crochets, two increases, 5 5 single crochets, two increases, and then 2 single crochets. And at the end of round 4 you should have 18 single crochets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the little lines onto the face, so these little lines here. So to do this we need to start off by chaining 3, and then we're going to single crochet down the chain, so that should be 2 single crochets. You can either go into the front loop or the back loop, it doesn't really matter, it just slightly changes the appearance. I'm going to be going into the back loops. So 1, 2 single crochets, then I'm going to do a slip stitch into the next stitch that would be along the main sort of face piece, so that would be this one. So do a slip stitch, and I'm going to repeat that again, so chain 3 and then 2 single crochets down the chain, then a slip stitch into the next main face stitch, chain 3, 2 single crochets down the chain, and now this time, instead of slip stitching into the next stitch, what we're going to do is we're actually going to single crochet into the next 2 stitches of the main face like this. And now what we're going to do is cut our yarn, leaving a tail for sewing, so leave probably more than you think you need. And you can also cut this other tail if you haven't already, so I'm just going to get rid of that. Then pull your yarn tail through like this, and now obviously this isn't the neatest, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off with a fake single crochet, and then it's going to be quite hard to tell where the round finished. So to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to go into, so skip the next single crochet and go into the one after that, into both loops, pull your yarn tail through, and then go back to that final single crochet that we just did, and go into the loop that's closest to you currently, so just this loop here, and then pull that yarn tail through. And then now what you can see is that we've created this fake single crochet here that makes it harder to tell where the round finished. And then when we're sewing this down to the main body, we can just be careful to make sure that we try and make it as sort of a regular oval shape as possible as we're sewing down around the outside here. And yeah, this is the final face piece completed. And the reason we're doing this first is because we're going to need to sew this onto the body before we've actually finished completing the body piece, so it makes more sense to do this first so that it's ready to be sewn on as soon as we need to do that. So now we're going to move on to the main body. For the body, I've got my pink yarn. For round 1, we're going to start off by chaining 6, and we're going to be working around the foundation chain to create a round. So start by chaining 6. Then what we're going to do, so starting from the second chain from hook, and I'm going to be working into these back loops here, we're going to do 4 single crochets, and then into that final chain we're going to do an increase. Then we're going to turn our work, so we're working on the other side of those chains, and we're going to repeat that again. So we're going to start by doing 4 single crochets, and I would recommend crocheting over the tail at this point as well because it helps to keep it secure. And then we're going to do an increase in the final stitch. So that's round 1 complete. You should have 12 single crochets, and what you should do at this point is just pull on this tail a bit to flatten out this part of your work, and once you've done that it should be nice and flat. Now for round 2 we're going to just simply be doing single crochet increase all the way around, and that'll get us up to 18 single crochets at the end of the round. Okay, so that's round 2 complete, and I've got 18 single crochets now. I'm going to talk you through the next few rounds now until we get to the point where we need to start doing some decreases. So for round 3 you're going to do 2 single crochet increase and repeat that pattern 5 more times to get you up to 24 single crochets. Round 4, 3 single crochet increase, repeat 5 more times to get you up to 30. Round 5, 4 single crochet increase, repeat 5 more times to get you up to 36. Then round 6 to 11 single crochet all the way around, so 36 single crochets in each round. I'll meet you when you're about to start round 12, as we need to start doing some decreases at this point. I've just completed round 11 and I'm going to start round 12 now, so I'm going to do that with you. So for round 12 we're going to start off by doing 10 single crochets, and I'm just going to use my stitch marker so I don't lose track of the round. Then I'm going to do a decrease, so I'm going to start as if I'm doing a normal single crochet, pull up a loop, but don't yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Instead go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, and then pull through all 3 loops on your hook like that. And we're just going to repeat that pattern twice more, so 10 single crochets. And then a decrease, then another 10 single crochets, and then a decrease. So at the end of round 12 you should now have 33 single crochets. For rounds 13 to 15 you're simply going to do 33 single crochets all the way around in each round. I'll meet you at the end of round 15 as we're then going to sew this face piece onto the body, and then we'll carry on with crocheting the body once we've done that. I've completed round 15, and at this point we're going to want to sew the face onto the body. So what you're going to want to do, I'm just going to remove my stitch marker to get that out of the way. So as you can see, looking at the top part here, this is kind of like an oval shape, and the front of the face we want to be on one of the longer sides, so either this side or this side, it doesn't really matter which side you pick, rather than these shorter sides here, because those need to be the edges. So I hope that kind of made sense. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a little look and think about what side I think is the neatest and should be the front side, and I'm leaning more towards this side, so I think I'm going to use this one, but you can choose whichever one you want. And now I'm going to get my face piece and my yarn needle. I'm just going to thread that tail You can use pins if you want, but just be careful if you're going to do that, because obviously they're going to poke through into the back here and you might poke yourself with it, so just be careful. But how I'm going to position this then, so I want the top of the face to be roughly about round 3, and then I want the bottom to be roughly at around round 12. So if I just count out here, so this is round 1, 2 and 3, so I want the top to be about here. And I can actually flatten this pink piece as well at this point. There's no reason why not to do that. It just makes it easier to hold this in place. And then yeah, I want the bottom part to be at roughly round 12, which I'll just count and see if it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yeah, you can see that that is roughly correct. And now we're going to just sew this down. So it's up to you how you do it. You can do a normal whip stitch if you want, the same way that you would do as if this is a closed up piece that you can't access the back of, and sewing it down like that. Or you can just do a running stitch where you're going in through, because we've got access to the inside of this pink piece, so we can go in through the pink piece like this, and then we can come back out through the pink piece and through the next cream stitch like this, and then just keep going round doing that same thing. Just be very careful that you're not sewing through the back of the piece if you're doing it this way. So it's a little bit tricky on the hands, so just take your time to do this, but effectively we just want to do that all the way around, so that we're sewing this all the way around and including going all the way around these bottom bits as well. So I'm just going to complete that and then I'll come back once I've sewn that fully down. This is what it looks like now that I've finished sewing the face down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to knot off this yarn tail on the inside of the body, and then that will be that part completed. So next what you're going to do, and the reason why we want to sew at this point, is you're going to want to grab your safety eyes and insert them now. And yeah, the reason we need to sew the face on is so that we can insert the safety eyes through the face and also through the body, and we've still got access to the back at this stage to put the backs on the safety eyes. So let's do that now. So for the safety eyes, you're going to want to roughly place them between rounds 2 and 3 on either side. Oops. So I'm just going to place one here, and then one here, and then you're just going to want to put the backs on your safety eyes as well. So now let's continue crocheting the body. I'm just going to talk you through the next few rounds now until we need to add our stuffing. So for round 16 you're going to do 9 single crochet decrease and repeat that twice more to get you down to 30 single crochets. Round 17 to 20 single crochet all the way around, so 30 single crochets in each round. Round 21, 3 single crochet decrease, repeat 5 more times to get you down to 24 single crochets. Then round 22, 2 single crochet decrease, repeat 5 more times to get you down to 18. So yeah, when you finish round 22 you're going to want to add your stuffing, so I'll meet you at that point. I've completed round 22 and stuffed firmly, as you can see. So now there's just 2 rounds left to do. Round 23 you're going to do single crochet decrease and repeat 5 more times to get you down to 12 single crochets. Then round 24 decrease all the way around to get you down to 6. So I'll meet you at the end of round 24 and show you how to close up the remaining hole at the bottom. I've completed round 24 now, and this is what it's looking like. So we need to close up that remaining hole. I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving a little bit of a tail, pull the tail through, then grab my yarn needle, thread the tail through there, And then for each of those final 6 single crochets, we're going to weave the yarn tail through the front loop only. So I'm going to count back to find where I need to start from. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we start in this one, and then, oops, it looks like I haven't gone through all the loops properly on that one. Let's try that again. Sorry, I'm not doing a very good job at this. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can just weave your yarn tail through the hole to the back of the body and pull on it slightly like that. Then you can cut that. So that is the main body complete now. So I think the next thing that we will move on to is making the little horns that we're going to sew onto the front of the body. So let's do that now. I've already made one of the horns here. We're going to obviously need to make 2. They're quite straightforward, so let's do that together now. So you're going to need your cream yarn, and for round 1 you're going to start off by doing 5 single crochets in a magic circle. Then close up that hole. Then for rounds 2 to 5, so for 4 more rounds, you're going to single crochet all the way around, so 5 single crochets in each round. I'll meet you when you finish that, and that will be it for the horn. I finished round 5, and this is what it looks like. So now all we need to do is cut our yarn, leaving a tail for sewing. And then you need to make 2 of these. So once you've got 2, come back and I'll show you how to sew them to the body. I've sewn down one of the horns and I'm going to do the other one with you now. So you want to position it about a couple of single crochets away from the face and at the top of the head like this. So I'm just going to try and position this other one so that it's roughly in line with what I've done on this side here. You can use a pin if you want to help you keep it in place while you're sewing down, but I'm just going to use my hand to hold it, and I'm going to do a kind of whip stitch all the way around the bottom. Okay, so just like that, that looks roughly even to me, so I'm happy with that. I'm just going to weave that yarn tail through to the back of the body and then cut that. So that's what it should look like once you've got the horns sewn down. The next thing that we're going to do is to crochet the ears, so you're going to need your pink yarn for this. So this is one of the ears. Again, we're going to need to make 2. This is just to show you what it's going to look like. Another quite straightforward piece. To be honest, all of the pieces in this are quite straightforward. So for round 1, you're going to start off by doing 6 single crochets in a magic circle. Then for round 2, you're going to single crochet all the way around, so 6 single crochets. Just going to pull on that yarn tail because I still had a bit of a hole remaining. Then for round 3 you're going to do single crochet, decrease, single crochet, decrease. Okay, then you're just going to cut your yarn, leaving a tail long enough for sewing, and you can also cut that yarn tail that's on the inside as well at this point. So yeah, once you've got 2 of those, I don't know where my other one went, but once you've got 2 of these pieces, come back and I'll show you how to sew the ears to the body. I've sewn down this ear, let's do the other one together now. You're going to want to position it just kind of below where the horn is, and obviously one on either side of the head. So I'm just going to start sewing this down now. Okay, so that's what it should look like once you've finished sewing down the ear, and then you can weave your yarn tail through to the back and simply just cut that like we did before. So I've skipped ahead and crocheted both of the arms, and the reason for this is just because it is basically the same pattern as the horns, except you only go up to round 4, so don't complete the final round 5 of single crochet all the way around. I'll just read it out again just in case you're unclear. So round 1 is 5 single crochets in a magic circle, and then rounds 2 to 4 is single crochet all the way around. So once you've got your 2 arms, come back and I'll show you how to sew them to the body. Sewn down one of the arms, going to do the other one with you now. In terms of positioning, you want the top of the arm to be roughly about round 13 of the body. So yeah, I'm going to just use my other side now as a guide to where I need to place this. I think that looks about right, so let's start sewing this down. I'm going to do a whip stitch along the sort of top 3 single crochets, so this is the second one, and then this is the third one. Just check the positioning. Yep, I think that still looks okay. So now what I'm going to do is just sew down a couple of stitches at either side. So I'm going to do this one to start with, and then one more. Then I'm going to weave my yarn tail to the front of the arm. Oh, sorry, there you go. And then sew down 1 or 2 stitches at the front as well. I think that will do. I'm just going to weave that yarn tail through to the back of the body and then cut that. So that is the arms added. I think next what I might do is to embroider the cross on the front of the body, so you're going to need your cream yarn again for this. I've got a fairly long length of my cream yarn. I always like to cut off more than I think I'm going to need. And now, as I mentioned, we're going to do the kind of cross shape on the front of the body. So you're going to start off at any corner that you want. It's completely up to you where you want to start. So I might start here. And then you're going to do a line that goes down like this, and then you need to do one on the other side. Probably useful to have a picture of the Skuffalo open while you're doing this, just to give you some guidance. But once you get one corner started, it's not too difficult to figure out where the rest of the stitches need to go. I'm just looking at that to make sure I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think that'll do. I think that might be a little too low. Perhaps maybe this one. I think that doesn't look right. I'm just going to show you me honestly doing this because I rarely get it right first time. So if you're the same, don't worry about it. Okay, I think that looks better. And am I happy with this one? Yeah, I think that's probably as symmetrical as I'm going to get it without being too much hassle, so I'm going to leave it like that. And then it's up to you, you can just leave it like this completely if you want, but I like to do a double line to make the lines a bit thicker, so I'm just going to go over everything that I've already done once more. Okay, so that's what it looks like now with the cross on the front. You can weave your yarn tails through the body a little bit if you want. You could even do some sort of knotting off if you really wanted to, but I'm just going to weave it for a couple of times and then I'll cut that, and I might just weave this one through once more. If you did want to do any knotting off, I'd recommend doing it at the bottom of the body because we're going to be sewing some legs there soon, so you could hide it with that. But yeah, I'm going to just do this because no one's going to be playing with this. It's just going to be displayed, so it doesn't need to be too secure. Okay, so now we're going to move on to doing the legs, which is the final part of this. Again, we're going to need 2 legs. I've crocheted one of them just to show you, but we're going to do the other one now. I guess, to be honest, this is more of a foot than a leg, but oh well. So what I'm going to do is grab my red yarn. So this is where the red yarn comes in if you're making a normal coloured Skuffalo. And we're going to crochet around a foundation chain again to create that oval shape. So we're going to start off by doing a chain of 5. Then we're going to do 3 single crochet increase across the chain. And then repeat the same on the other side of the chain, so 3 single crochet increase, making sure to crochet over the tail. So that's round 1 complete. You should have 10 single crochets, and I'm just going to pull on that yarn tail as well to flatten this out. Now for round 2, we're going to single crochet all the way around, but we're going to single crochet in the back loops only. So I'm going to just go into these back loops and do my 10 single crochets. So that's round 2 complete. You should still just have 10 single crochets now. In round 3 we're going to start doing decreases, so we're going to start off by doing 3 single crochets. Then we're going to do 2 decreases. And then another 3 single crochets. And that gets us down to 8 single crochets at the end of round 3. Now for rounds 4 to 5, which are the final rounds, we're just going to single crochet all the way around, so 8 single crochets per round. That's round 4, now round 5, same again. Okay, and that's it. So you will need to kind of use your fingers to shape the foot a little bit, but hopefully once you do that you can see this sort of foot shape here. So you're going to need to cut your yarn, leaving a tail for sewing. And then in terms of stuffing, you can just use stuffing, normal stuffing to stuff this, but because we've got 2 decreases quite close to each other, it can open up a bit of a gap here where the stuffing might poke through. So what I would recommend that you do is just cut a length of your red yarn and just actually use that for stuffing, because you only need a little bit because it's only a small piece, and then if any of it like pokes through a little bit, then at least it's the same colour, so it doesn't really matter so much. Like there you can see, obviously you can't see anything really poking through because it's all the same colour, so I'm just going to do that. I think that looks nicer than stuffing with stuffing in this instance. And then when you've got 2 of these feet, come back and we'll sew them to the bottom of the body, and then that'll be it. I've sewn down one of the legs, going to just do the other one with you now. So you want to position these at the bottom of the body and fairly close to each other as well, and then just whip stitch all the way around. Again, as always, you can use pins if you want, but I'm going to just hold it in place with my hands. I actually haven't used pins at all in this tutorial, so yeah, that's a bit unusual for me, but when it's a small piece I tend not to. Just making sure I'm happy with that. I think that's good. I think what I might actually even do is just sew the feet together a little bit. I didn't do this on the gleamy version that I made before, but I'm actually just thinking it might look nice, so I'm just going to try that. yeah, I don't know, I think that looks better, so I'm going to leave it like that, I think. And then just weave my yarn tail through the back and then cut that, poke that inside, and that is my Skuffalo completed. So I'll show you a better view of the finished product, and that will be the end of the video. So here's what my finished Skuffalo looks like. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!